Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Waalaikumsalam
wabarakatuh.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good evening, sir, and all friends. I hope your day is lovely as well as mine. Thank you. As we have planned today, that we are going to have some discussion about back to campus for offline learning during pandemic. Okay, let me start with the first question. What do you think of the idea of back to campus for offline learning while pandemic is still there? Okay, guys, do you want to give some opinion?
I have some opinion on this.
Okay,
Uh,
Adhisty, go ahead.
my opinion is that the idea of going back to campus is not a wise idea because we return to campus. Of course, we will be in public place and crowd and make contact with other people. And it will make it easier for us to be exposed to the coronavirus. COVID-19 is a virus that is very easy to spread. Many people in this world have been affected by coronavirus from infant to the elderly, from mild to severe symptoms, from those who manage to survive and also those who not do the coronavirus. So I think the idea to go back to campus for offline learning is not really a good idea.
Okay, thank you for your opinion. Okay, guys, do you have some different idea or opinion?
Host, may I ask permission for add some opinion?
Okay, Rahman, go ahead.
Well, I prefer online learning more than offline learning because I have some advantage. Here is the advantage of online learning. First is efficiency. Online learning offers teacher an efficient way to deliver lesson to students. Online learning has a number of tools such as videos, PDFs, podcasts, etc. And teacher can use all these tools as part of their lesson plans. Second, accessibility of time and place. Another advantage of online education is that allows students to attend classes from any location of their choice. It also allows schools to reach out through more extensive network of students instead of being restricted by geographical boundaries. Additionally, online lectures can be recorded, archived, and shared for future reference. And last, third, is affordability. Another advantage of online learning is reduced financial costs. Online education is far more affordable as compared to physical learning. This is because online learning eliminates the cost for the study, transportation, student meal, and most importantly, real estate. Okay, I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rahman. I think we just next to the next question. Okay, the second question. Do you agree or not, and why? Okay, before we start, I want to give my opinion first. In my opinion, I agree with offline class. Why? Because with offline learning, we can make our teamwork for doing homework or organization. With offline learning, I think there is no obstacle like signal interference, broken camera, and wake up late. And with offline learning, students will be more disciplined with the timetable. That's all from my opinion. Okay, do you guys have the different opinion?
I have some different opinion. May I ask
Okay,
for
Rahman, go
some
ahead.
permission? Okay,
Okay.
I don't agree with offline learning during a pandemic because as all we know, health is everything. If you force offline schools and students get COVID, then it's just as useless. There is no point on it. Rather than taking risks, it's better to continue learning online first until the conditions are really stable to return to study in college. For your information, college is not the only place to study. If a student has intention of learning, they can do it anywhere and anytime. Considering out, current technology is very advanced. The internet has made it very easy for us to find many information. And of course, without taking risk of being exposed by COVID, which can threaten lives. Okay, I think that's all from me.
Okay, thank you for Rahman. How about you guys?
Yes, I totally agree with Rahman. I think, uh, yes, we have the same opinion, so I think it's enough.
Okay, I think it's enough. Okay, let me continue with the next question. What are the problems of online learning? Okay, do you want to give some opinion?
I have opinion on this.
Okay, Adhisty, go ahead.
I think the first problem that the student gonna face is there's they struggle to adapt because the prospect of having an entire university experience compact into a personal electronic device is unusual to say the least. It can be unnerving for them who have only ever known traditional classroom setting. Traditionally, a degree of passivity is expected, particularly when not taking and listening. Question with tutors is allowed a limited time. Online learning demands springing into action, accepting course material in a variety of formats, and taking part in online discussion, which can indefinitely. The second problem is the credibility. There often the word of learning is not fully trusted, nor given the respect it deserves. Qualifications are accredited by esteemed university institutes. Validity and credibility is met with skepticism because the format is relatively new. The program student is not overseen in the class. The perceived value in attending a campus institution, the social education, also viewed as something not to miss, which can lead to cynicism when considering enrolling in online degree program. Third, there are outdated hardware and software. This is a problem because online learning makes standard education accessible to students all around the globe. This is especially advantage for online education providers to the remote location and those without the funds to commerce traditional campus program where fee and student debt frequently the joy of learning. However, a learning thus requires the necessary computer equipment to run online learning platform. This can potentially pose problems for students and schools with all outdated hardware and software. Fourth problem is managing time well. Online offers the ultimate freedom to study around your private and professional commitments. It can lead to complacency and a false sense of security if dedication and time is not set aside for serious study. Online courses are very bit as detailed as demanding as their counterpart. Though this realization may not be full in the zeitgeist of our time, the intangible digital nature of learning means that bad time management could lead to failure. Then the fifth one is discipline and motivation. Why this is a problem is because working to any goal requires a dedication and motivation. And on the face of it, studying online can seem folk with opportunities to lose qualities. For one, there is the unlimited distraction of already being on the internet. Social media, YouTube, and news websites are as present next assessment. A lot of valuable time can pass if you don't monitor your internet usage closely. Given the abstract nature of online learning, motivation in particular can take a hit, especially if you have already spent the day at work in front of a computer. And last but not least, and the main problem, also the problem most often faced by students is the problem of the internet, which could suddenly become bad and makes it difficult for access online classes. Students will feel disturbed and difficult, especially when there are important things that need to access or stand by are constrained by a poor internet connection. And that's all for my opinion for this. Thank you.
Okay, this is a good opinion from you, Adis. Are you guys want to add your opinion? from Adis?
I think no. Yes. What Adhisty tell is same with us, and I think rather than learning, it looks like we got some punishment by the lots of assignment by given the lecture. I think yes, we have a struggle with this case.
Yeah, it is something we can't deny. How about you, Rahman?
I don't really have problem with that. So I'm okay
Okay.
with this.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's we continue with the next question. What are the problems of offline learning during pandemic? Do you want to give some opinion?
Yes, I think I have some opinions with this.
Okay, Regita, please.
So I think the problems of online learning is I think the problems of offline learning are not as much as the problems of online learning, but the impact is much bigger than the problem of online learning. The first, of course, is the implementation of health protocols. We all know that we are not used to wearing a mask outside and changing it every 3 hours at least if we are outside for a long time. For example, like if we are going to study offline later, and also not used to not being close to or keeping a distance from other people, especially if we are going to study offline together with friends. And also most of us are certainly not used to always washing our hands or spraying our hands with hand sanitizer. Some of us may be able to do that every day, but can we guarantee that at least 50% of the people out there do the same thing every day? Of course not. The proof can even be seen in our own environment, especially at this time in Pekanbaru. I heard that the number of victims is still increasing and has even become a black zone. I think this is a big problem. Then the second another offline learning problem is teaching and learning activities that are not optimal. Even if it's later allowed to study offline, the rules about keeping the distance must still be carried out. As a result, the number of students in class from 40 become to 20 for each study session, and or the number of days to campus, which was usually 5 days, turned out to be only 2 or 3 days, for example. And this will certainly make students unable to understand the material well, right? It feels like a responsibility to learn face to face, but only for a moment. That's all I think about the problem of offline learning. What do you think, guys?
Yes, I agree with Regita. As we all know, health is very expensive, more expensive than your Wi-Fi costs. So it's better to keep your healthy than get a COVID and we can die.
Mhm.
Okay, I think that's all for me.
Yeah, because we still have the rules, the protocol for this offline learning. How about you, Adis?
What Regita said already represent what I had in mind. So I have no problem with this, and I agree with Regita.
Okay, thank you. Uh, let me continue with the next question. How pandemic has impacted our education? Do you want to
Okay,
give some
my
opinion?
affirmation, I have an opinion for this question.
Okay, Rahman, please.
Okay, the COVID-19 pandemic has created the largest disruption of education system in human history, affecting nearly 1.9 billion learners in more than 200 countries. Since the pandemic began, education has changed a lot. Previously, all teaching and learning activities were carried out in schools, and now learning activities are carried out online to maintain health and avoid COVID. E-learning tools have played a crucial role during this pandemic, helping schools and universities facilitate students learning during the closure of universities and schools. The learner with a fixed mindset find it difficult to adapt and adjust, whereas the learner with a growth mindset quickly adapt to a new learning environment. As schools have been closed to cope with the global pandemic, students, parents and educators around the globe have felt the unexpected ripple effect of COVID-19 pandemic. While government, frontline workers, and health officials are doing their best slowing down the outbreak, education system are trying to continue imparting quality for all during these difficult times. Many students at home living space have undergone physiological and emotional distress and have been unable to engage productively. Okay, I think that's all from me.
Okay, thanks for your opinion, Rahman. Are you guys wanna add some opinion?
No, I totally agree with Rahman.
Yeah,
Yes.
same here. I agree with Man. We pretty much have the same opinion too.
Yeah, I think it's all of our mind what Rahman said about. Okay, let me continue with the last question. Let me read. What the government and teachers should do to maintain the quality of education during pandemic? Do you want to give some opinion?
Yes, I think I have some opinions. Not so many, just a little. Uh, in my opinion, about for less effective teaching learning problems, schools and their staff need to find their own way so that the material being studied can be understood by students as much as possible. I hope the campus doesn't have to force students to understand the learning material until 100%. I think at least 70% is enough. At least students still understand the material being studied. But this also depends on the situation and conditions, right? And it's the students' rights that determine what they want. The point is the flexibility of learning. That's all. So the second is government and school assistance. Regarding parents who have difficulty getting internet quota, I think the government needs to be present and even provide an injection of funds. That is, the government doesn't only make regulation and learning policies through the online and offline system in every school. However, the government inevitably has a special budget for purchasing internet quota for students whose parents cannot afford it. So it's cool. There's need to be special assistance for parents who are economically disadvantaged, especially for students whose parents have been affected by the coronavirus. For example, being laid off by the company, the place where they look for scripts. And I really, really hope there will be no corruption in this case. Okay, that's enough for me.
Yes. Okay. Are you guys wanna give more opinion?
No, I just strongly agree with Regita's opinion. But don't be too naive that funds will be arrived for all students out there, because I mean this Indonesia, there are many corruption out there. So
Yes.
as we all know.
Yes, don't just be naive. Just
Yes, it's humans what make with us. Okay. I think that's all for our discussion. Thank you all
moderator,
with
I
your
have a question,
opinion.
moderator. Do you want to
Uh,
give a conclusion with this topic? Do you have a conclusion with this?
okay. I think the conclusion of this topic, uh, with offline learning, I think we have different opinion, but let's see how the government do with this learning, because we just hope this corona is end soon, right? Okay,
Yes.
just hope and pray to God corona end and we can meet offline and do what we want to do as we have think when we senior high school. I mean, okay,
I
I think
mean,
that's all from us. Thank you guys for your opinion. I just close.
thank
I'm
you
Daffa
guys.
Putra
Thank you all.
Darmawan. I'm sorry if I have mistakes when I being a host. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Waalaikumsalam
wabarakatuh.
Warahmatullahi
warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh.
wabarakatuh.